Hey guys, what's going on? So we got a great question from Romina, who was asking what mindset training for swimmers looks like from my perspective, and then what we do inside of the mind gym. And I thought it was a great question, and I want to, I just thought I'll go live and I'll go a bit deeper for you guys so you can understand why training is so important for me, why I believe in it, and how we actually do it and what we do. So what it is, what the Mind Gym is, it's for competitive swimmers between 12 and 20. And the level where they're at, like, doesn't matter to me. But the goal is to give them the mental skills, to develop mental skills, to learn how to handle pressure and do well in competition, because that's a skill that they're going to be able to use in school, like, in the difficult teenage years, and everywhere else that they go. Okay. So I want to go deeper with you guys today. And you see, like, about mindset, here's the thing. Like, there are a few things that we just know for sure today that they are true. Like, just that we know that smoking is not good for you. We know that mindset is the most important and the decisive factor for an athlete. Like, don't take it from me. Take it from Djokovic, for example, when, I mean, he's saying, that's him saying it is, okay, there's a lot of tennis players that have the same skills that he does, like in terms they have a same serve and all that. But what the difference is the mindset. And actually, believe it or not, I used to coach an Italian tennis player who was in the top 50, and he used to play against Djokovic, and like in training, it did happen that he actually won, but he never won in competition, right? So it's the mindset. And let me just like share how I figure that out. And it was unfortunately way, way, way too late, because I figured this out when I was 24 and a half, which was the last year of my career. And I used to suffer from severe performance anxiety. And, like, I would train really hard, do everything right, make all the sacrifices, went to the States, did the motivational videos and, like affirmations and all that stuff. But every time I got to the competition, even though I was in great shape, right? Like, on the day of competition, even the warm up was great. And then I became a different person. I started to get so nervous, and I got on a block, and then, I just completely bombed it. And it was so disappointing because it happened again and again and again. And I didn't know what was wrong with me, because I knew I had it in me, right? The times from practice, they proved it. And so that's why I'm so passionate about giving that to the younger athletes, because I can't help myself but, like, thinking back, it was like, okay, what if somebody told me this when I was 14, right? I think I could have done a lot better than just being in the Olympics. I could have been in the final. I could have made a medal. Like, I'm sure of that, because it's just so important. And so I had the opportunity in my last year, right? The University of Virginia, where I was training in the US. They hired the sports psychologist of Michael Phelps, Dr. Jim Bauman. And we could go and see him once a week. And I and another guy, we were the only two people who raised our hands like, okay, I want to do that. Because for me at that point, right, I'm just speaking for me, I was sick and tired of the shitty results that I kept getting year after year. And I knew I was capable of more. And, people was like, oh, you're just mentally not tough enough. And it's like, there's another thing on your plate that you're going to have to do. And it's like, I did not care about it. I just wanted to have different results. So I raised my hand and I, went to see him. And the first thing that he explained to me is this, right? And that's where I had the big aha moment. He's like, look, I'm just going to draw this for you because I love, like, the whiteboard. Okay. So if this is success up here, right? Success, that is very individual. And again, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter what level you're at. It's just your next level of success, whatever you want to do, or your child wants to do, right? And there's a ladder that leads to this success. It's the ladder to success. And the ladder has three parts. So it has a left leg, which is the body. Okay. That's the first thing that an athlete can train. Then it has the second leg, all right, which is technique. Okay. That's the second thing that a swimmer can train, technique. And then it has a third part, which is the middle piece here. And that is the mind. Okay. And that's the third thing that an athlete can train. So we can only train the body, we can train the technique, and we can train our mind. And so here's the thing. What he explained to me is, like, your performance in David, right, when he was addressing me, in competition is going to depend on the lowest of the three. So in other words, to have an absolute peak experience and swim a new personal best, we need all of them as high as possible at the same time. So let me give you an example. If you are mentally super strong and you have great technique, but you got a broken leg, you're not going to swim very well, or you're sick. Okay. If you're mentally strong, your body is in tip-top shape, but you just changed your technique last week, it's going to feel awkward. And you're also not going to have the success that is possible if you had changed your technique earlier. Okay. And the third case, which is what I'm seeing a lot, and definitely it was the case with me, is like my body's in tip-top shape. I got my technique dialed in as good as I possibly could, right? But my mind broke down in competition. So my body was totally capable of swimming new personal bests and, qualifying for the Olympics and all that. My technique was up there too. My coaches told me all the time. But my mind was the limiting factor and it broke down, right? I was limited, even though body was 10 out of 10, technique was 10 out of 10, or say 9 out of 10, but my mind was maybe like a 3 out of 10. And so that was the level of success that I had in competition because my mind broke down, okay? It's super important to understand this, okay? The ladder to success. We need all three at the same time, all right? So just doing mindset training isn't going to be a guarantee that they're going to be faster, because if they don't take care of their body or they do something bad with their technique, it's still not going to be peak performance. Okay. So we need all three. Okay. And so I call it the mind gym and not the brain gym, because the brain is a powerful tool, but we're working with an ancient brain, and it's good at letting you know what you're afraid of. Okay. And there's something that actually governs the brain, and that is the mind. And the mind is much more powerful. Okay. That's why we call it the mind gym and not the brain gym. Okay. Because the brain gym, you can do like concentration drills and, you know, um, you know, there's drills. I'll get to that in a second, right? There's like simple drills and they can be part of it, but there's something like more holistic. Okay. We want to look at like the whole picture and make sure that the kid has everything in place for peak performance. Because it's, if somebody, for example, is heartbroken or they're constantly sick, because that can be the mind too, right? You can get sick just from thinking bad thoughts, basically, right? You're also not going to swim very fast. So it's like a holistic approach. And what we want to do, and what I'm really, because I love when somebody does it for me, is like we want to meet the young swimmers where they're at and not where we want them to be, right? We really meet them where they're at right now. And so if somebody comes into the mind gym, the first thing that we do is we do a thorough assessment. Okay. And then based on that assessment, it could be that it's as serious as sitting down with mom and dad and the coach and have a deep conversation about moving in a different country to train there, right? But it could also be as simple as just doing 2-minute concentration drills every day, to literally as simple as taking an object, putting it in front of me and focusing on it for 2 minutes at a time, right? So what's important about like after the assessment is that we can give the child a quick win. Like, why would that be important? Because if they have a quick win, they have a great experience, and like, oh my God, that worked, right? They get curious and then they come back for more. And that's what we want. We want them to come and be curious about it, not us or me like telling them, hey, this is how the world works. And, right? They get enough of that from the parents. Like I'm a parent now too, and she's younger, but, we'll get there. But I think, we so often we tell them how it is instead of planting a seed, helping them to a quick win, and then they come back and they want it, and then we got it. We got the fire, we got the fire going. Okay, so it's super important. And then when they come back for more, we give them more, right? Obviously, we give them more, and then they do even better. And then what starts to happen is like they start to be in control of their emotions. Okay, they will like be in a powerful position to start to express their emotions. They will tell their parents that they love them. They'll express to their siblings how they appreciate them, how they love them, right? They'll start to think about their values, right? And then maybe family is like a big value that they have, or like relationships, all of a sudden they start to do more with the family together. And then the parents see it, the siblings see it, and they get, infected by, and then all of a sudden whole family has like that growth mindset, right? That's literally what's happening. That's what I mean by holistic. It's more fun for everybody. There's momentum. Everybody is better off. And it's really like, it's a brilliant thing. Okay. And so that's what I That's, we're more than just swimmers, but we use swimming, we use the sport, competitive sports, to make the kids strong for the future. Okay. And that's what's exciting me, because swimming, I mean, I love swimming. Right? Don't get me wrong. I love swimming. I love to see them swim fast. But believe it or not, like, well, you believe it because you're a parent, but like for the kids, they don't know it at the time because swimming is everything to them because they spend so much time and they don't have the perspective yet. But there is something cool coming after that, and we want to equip them and give them the tools, right? And so sometimes, the tools that we use, sometimes we do drills, right? If somebody struggles with confidence, we do emotional state control where they can put themselves in a confident state in 3 minutes. Use visualization. We do write down daily wins or daily gains, as we call them, inside the mind gym. Okay. But these are like the drills, and they're part of it. That's like training the brain. But there's also things like worries and maybe even fears or negative self-talk that can actually be minimized, or even they even disappear through simple conversation. Okay. With somebody that they trust and somebody that is not family. Because what's going on is like what's happening subconsciously with the emotions that we don't really want to have, or that are not conducive of what we want to do. Like, if we're frustrated or disappointed or fearful, it's not the best state to be in for a competition, right? So that happens subconsciously, and it's because we have a blind spot. We don't see it. We don't know that it's happening. We don't understand it. And that's why, by the way, I have blind spots. And that's why I'm working with a coach, because he can show me the blind spots that I have, right? I'm not arrogant and saying, oh, I don't have any blind spots just because I'm a coach. I have blind spots. And that's why in the moment that the coach shows me, oh, this is what's going on, I'm like, oh, shit. That's right. And then in that moment, I'm like, that's why I've been self-sabotaging. Okay. And now in that moment, I have a choice. I can change whatever I want to change or need to change. Right. And then with the right guidance, it's actually very, very fast. Okay. But it gives us that feeling of feeling free, and that my choice matters, or my choices matter. Okay. And that is, as long as we can't see it, we don't have a choice. As soon as we can see the blind spot, and it's like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. Now let me try this. And it's really like an empowering feeling that will build a lot of momentum. And these conversations, they allow us to really go deep on questions like, okay, what happens if I disappoint my parents? What would they think? Really think it through, or like, what if my younger brother beats me? Or what is a performance identity? Why am I over the moon when I swim well, and I'm like piece of shit basically when I don't do well, right? So it's things like this, or like, who am I? Philosophical question, but it's so fun to explore this with the kids at that age. And what I'm finding is that it really benefits them, and their confidence, their sense of like who they are starts to grow. And then obviously that'll translate into faster training times and most of all, faster competition times. And it's these fun questions and conversations that really fascinate me, because yeah, the drills, they're part of it. We do what we got to do, but then those conversations, they open up a whole new level. And then the combination of those, right? That's what I call the mind gym. That's why it's not the brain gym, it's the mind gym. Okay. So I hope that was useful. Got you a little bit of an insight. If you want to know more about what we do inside the mind gym, I actually have like a 15-minute video that you can watch where I like show what the problem is, what the solution is. You can go to davidkarasek.com/mindgym, davidkarasek.com/mindgym, watch the video. And if you want, you can book a call with me, or you can just DM me and we can set up a call straight away. And I see you soon.